We did day 1 of tree diagrams, and today we're learning it's day 2, and it's the counting principle. And the counting principle is going to be it's going to be like a version of a shortcut to doing a tree diagram. So you guys probably going to enjoy this day. Well, it's going to be less tedious and time consuming, I'll tell you that. So moving on here to the second slide, our warm-up says how many possible outcomes are there for when Sarah decides what she wants to eat for dinner at McDonald's. She can choose a main course, either a burger or nuggets, a side, french fries or apples, and a drink, water, pop, or a shake. And you're going to be creating a tree diagram, which is what we did in the last unit, to find out. So for here, if we start out with our main course, we could choose between a burger or nuggets. Now, our second one we're deciding between is if we're going to pick, you can either choose for a side, you can either choose fries or with an F or A for apple. Do the same thing. If you pick nuggets, you can still have either choice of fries or an apple. And then for your drink option, you can choose water, pop, or a shake. And that's going to continue all the way down. Water, pop, shake, water, pop, shake, water, pop, shake. I'm going to draw these lines connecting them to help us make our outcome list here. So your outcomes here of burger, fry, water, burger, fry, pop, burger, fry, shake. I'm going to do that all the way down. Again, this should be review from yesterday. NAS. Now that we have all of our outcomes, there's 6 options if you were to pick a burger, and 6 options if you were to pick nuggets. Oh, I just put an N. I should say 6. Wow. Now if we add these together, 6 plus 6 is going to get us to 12, or 6 times 2. But the point of the lesson today is that we're getting at the counting principle, and the counting principle is going to be a shortcut. So for instance, we knew that for our entree, for our main course, there were 2 options. So I'm just going to put a little 2 above there. You could have picked a burger or nuggets. And then for our side, there was 2 options for our side, either french fries or apples. And then for our drink, there were 3 options, water, pop, and a shake. So I'm going to put a little 3 up here. Now I'm going to rewrite that. So we have 2 main courses, 2 sides, and 3 drinks. And the counting principle says that all you have to do is multiply them straight across. And look at that. 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 times 3 gets you to 12. So this is just a faster method of finding out the different outcomes. And that's what we're getting at for today's lesson. So this was just a quick, brief intro. We're going to continue and go further with it. But that was just kind of connecting our tree diagram here to our counting principle up here. Now the counting principle is to count the number of ways you can do something. You can multiply the number of choices you have for each decision. So essentially each decision here, for this example, when you're doing this, it looks like they're making a sandwich. Could your decision be the type like your bread, your meat, and your cheese? So these are your decisions. I'm just going to put a D down here for decision. And then these numbers here over that these arrows are connecting to, these are your different choices for each one. So we have 3 decisions here. 1, 2, 3. And then we can multiply them by our number of choices that we have here. Like so for each one you have 5 for this one here between our 3 decisions. So for this first decision, you have 5. So we have 5 here. So from going from the bread to the meat, it's saying 5 times 8 because there's 8 options here, or 8 choices. And that gets you 40. Then you're going to multiply that 5 times 8 times your 6 because for your third option, your third decision, there's 6 choices. So essentially you're taking 5 times 8 times 6, and that gets you to 240. But if we're referring back to that main course meal again, so we had our main course, we had 2 options for our first decision. We had 2 options or choices. Then for our second decision, our side, we had 2 choices again. Then for our drink, our third decision, we had 3 choices. So if you multiply those all through, again, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12. Gonna get to 12. Now, we're gonna just continue practicing it again, but this question is asking about dinner at Applebee's. So you're going to Applebee's and you're deciding what to order for dinner. You are going to choose a drink, an entree, and a dessert. So these are our decisions here, but we gotta see how many choices we have for each decision. The menu has 2 drinks. Oh, 2 drinks. So that's our first decision here. So one. And then it has 4 entrees. That's how many entree options we have for our entree decision. And then we have 3 dessert choices for awesome. We have 2 for our drinks, times 4 for our entrees, and then times 3 for our desserts. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then 8 times 3 is 24. So we know that there are 24 different ways we can order our dinner. Again, if you need to pause this or rewind it and play it again, that's the beauty of this whole online schooling, that you can pause a video whenever you want or rewind to kind of be re-taught something versus you can't really do that in a classroom as easily. I mean, you can ask the teacher to repeat themselves, but odds are the teacher won't be too happy about doing that. I mean, obviously, if you're paying attention and you just didn't understand a concept, then that's okay. But if you just weren't paying attention, that's a different story. Anyways, there's my little rant. I'll continue on. So here's another example. So you might go into the Cheesecake Factory. Wow, this person is spending a lot of money on food. And so they're going to the Cheesecake Factory. The menu is obscenely large. I've never been to the Cheesecake Factory, but I've always wanted to go. You're allowed to choose from our 7. So for our first decision, there's 7 choices. Our second decision, our entree, there's 10. And our third decision is 5. So we have 7 in our entrees, 7 in our drinks, 10 in our entrees, and then 5 in our desserts. So all we have to do, the counting principle says you can just multiply those on through. And you get 7 times 10 gets you 70. And 70 times 5 is going to get you, well, we know 70 times 10 is 700. So all you have to do is divide that by 2 because 5 times 2 is 10. So we know that's 350 because 700 divided by 2 is 350. So we know that there's 350 total options. Now in our last one here, ooh, why does it look like this? Ooh, we might have to skip this one. Yeah, we'll just skip this one.